take, I don't know, take 4 or 5, something like that. I had a whole thing sort of recorded already for the start of the new video, but I think in hindsight I'm just going to scrap all of that and just give you a quick rundown because Dohc is not going to be the focus of this video. So just real quick, what I did was I took the stator out, the old one out, I got the cover off, patched it a little bit because there was a crack in it, polished it up a little bit, just to, I guess, kind of give it some flair, we'll say. Put the new stator in, got everything wired up. The other side, I had a little jumper wire to the battery that I had put in that was not thick enough gauge to hold the current that was passing through it. Replaced that wire, got everything buttoned back up and nice. So Dohc should be good to go now. There really ain't much left on it. I just got to get it legal. I'd let the plates lapse because I wasn't riding it. So I got to go through and do that, get it insured. With that being said, the focus of this video, this little guy. This, at one point in time, was probably like 100cc Toto or something like that. That's definitely not what it is anymore. It is, that is a 212 Predator, most likely from Harbor Freight. That's where everybody likes to pick them up from. And of course the tank is the old tank from the 4A, and then the seat is the old seat from Dohc, which those things I put on. I didn't put the engine on. Got this from a buddy at work. Him and his brother were tinkering on it and just kind of trying to have some fun with it. They got it running and moving and scooting down the road. It doesn't like to go. It will fire right up like the second pull, but it doesn't want to move. And I think just from peeking at it, through the process of putting the tank on and putting the seat on, it would appear that there's probably some gasket issues. I believe it's the valve cover. The gasket on that appears to be squishing out one side. I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to do that. And then the exhaust gasket here, you can see it poking out there. That's probably another leak. The RTV or gasket maker, I don't know, that seems fine to me. If it's squished outside that far, it's probably covering stuff. Although I will say, if it's squished outside that far, it's probably squished inside and choking it, if anything at all. So we'll figure out what's going on there. The only other thing that I noticed necessarily would be like the gearing on it. That centrifugal clutch he's got on there, I think I counted the teeth and it's got like a 12 tooth. And then that sprocket, the drive sprocket on the back there, is like 28 teeth or something. But nevertheless, besides that, today, for sure, we're gonna do some gasket replacement. I got some finish welding to do on my bracket here for the seat. Give it a little bit more support. Maybe if I feel like it. I kind of was thinking about extending this whole mess up a little bit. That one depends on exactly how I feel. But for right now, I'm going to pop the head gasket off, get that gasket replaced. I'll probably take the exhaust off and see what's going on with the gasket maker, but at the very least I'll replace the one, I guess, OEM gasket that's there, and we'll see how I feel from there. Update time! I got the tank put back on, I got the seat put back on, that's all fine and dandy now. Made all my little adjustments that I wanted to make. I got I'm pretty sure I called it a head gasket. I think it might be a valve cover or something. Whatever it is, I got the gasket and that put back in. The I'm just looking at the exhaust gasket here. Kind of crinkled up on me, but that was the gasket that was supposedly for the exhaust in the kit, so that's the right one. This is now cinched up and not gasket maker did. The current issue that I'm having with it is that when you fire it, it is all of the throttle all of the time. But I do believe I have sussed out the culprit here. There is a return spring here that, as you can see, is not connected to anything, and this, I believe, is a part of my issue. I'm going to figure out what I need to do with that. There's a little screw back there that I need to readjust. So first time ever for me, there doesn't appear to be a fuel airflow mixture screw on that carburetor, like anywhere. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I'm gonna tinker with that little return spring there on that arm, see where I can get on it. Alright, well, at this point, I've gone through enough of the stuff. I think it comes down to the gearing here. That rear drive gear there is just, it's too small. That's got to be the only thing I'm thinking. It's just too small. The engine, for the gear ratio between the centrifugal clutch and that drive gear there, that with the weight of the vehicle, which isn't much, but then the weight of the rider on top of that, it doesn't want to move it. And my neighbors are laughing at me right now, to be honest with you. I've sat out in the driveway just and going nowhere. It wasn't backfiring, it was just chugging, which tells me that it just simply, with the gearing that's on there, it just simply doesn't have enough to move it. Which brings me to kind of a difficult part, or a difficult fork in the road a little bit. I mean, it's not really that difficult, you know. It's not a life-altering decision or anything, but I was kind of warming up to the idea of sort of tinkering with this and having just a fun little thing to putt around town on. I'm really in the position that this was bought for parts. All right, so I didn't want to put any money at all into it. My plan, just to kind of break it down, my plan, the engine, I have no plans for the engine at all. I'll probably wind up selling it, if anything at all. Pretty much from there forward is going to get chopped off and used for a different project. And then little bits and bobs here, there, out will be used for yet another project. And it's essentially just going to be, at the end of it, it's essentially going to be just the engine and like the rear section of the frame. Everything else I have plans for. I might try and figure something out. I do have a couple of sprockets that might work for it. I don't know. There's going to be some fabrication, some fabric cobbling, as old Morsky Repair likes to say. That'll be for a different day. I think I'm going to shut her down for today and go get some lunch. We'll see what I feel like in the morning. I got that rear wheel off because I was looking into seeing if this sprocket was going to work or not. Now, I don't know, because I think it's thinner. It's not as robust, if you will. I don't know, you can't really tell from the camera there. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's of a thinner gauge, so I don't know if it'll hold up, but it does appear that it would fit on there. It's not going to hurt anything. The thing's already doomed to get cut up anyhow. Let me see if I can't get this gear on here. I'm almost positive there's going to be something that I'm going to have to tinker with. We got her buttoned back up. The new sprocket is on there. It's just a little bit bigger. I had to do some chicanery there that I'm not exactly sure how it's going to turn out. I guess we'll figure out. It's only 8 in the morning though, so I don't really want to fire it up just yet. It is a Saturday, so I don't know. We'll let it sit for a little bit and see what's going on. Um, to buy me some time, I guess I could probably figure out more of what I'm going to do with the handlebar stuff here. I would like to. I have some other handlebars. I have the handlebars off of the Stingray, right? The original handlebars off there, and I think those would look super cool on this thing. The only problem is when I put them on there, like I'm gonna put them through the little mounts here. The handlebars only go this high, right? Which is roughly about where my knees are at when I'm sitting on it, and so that's way too low. I would have to cut the steering shaft here, or whatever the hell it's called, and then get a chunk of pipe to raise it up, weld that on, and then I'd probably, well, I would want to get a chunk of rod, solid rod, weld that, you know, cut it, weld the chunk in, weld the top back on it. I don't know though, because that is, I don't know, that's a fair amount of work. I don't know how quickly I can get that done. Let me think about it for a little bit. We'll see what I can figure out. Well, ain't no going back now, I suppose. I thought, I don't know, I don't necessarily know what possessed me to think that, but I thought that this was a solid chunk, like a solid rod. I mean, it doesn't really matter as far as I'm aware, but it's just something that threw me off a little bit. So now that I got this off, comes the next part where I get to go through, and I believe the plan of attack is to take the flapper disc, and I'm gonna clean that up a little bit, try and get the chunk of the crowbar that I cut sat on there. I guess maybe in a similar angle, you know, and then maybe when I attach, because you see it's got a little bit of a rake there. When I attach this to the top of that chunk of crowbar, I could, instead of having it be at the same angle, I could lean it forward a little bit and extend. Maybe I can extend forward, not only up but forward. We'll see how it works out. That's the plan of attack. And I think while I do have all of this crap off, I am gonna just real quickly go through and clean up and shoot it with some Satan black. We're moving along. Oh yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? It looks especially ridiculous without the tank and the seat on there. I know it might look like it. Yeah, you can definitely kind of see it right there. So I guess steering column or whatever is as straight as I could actually possibly get it. The bars are bent, and I tried to straighten them out in the vise and messed with it for about 5 minutes and got tired of it. I was like, it's not that deep. I just had to tell myself that a couple times, and then came over here and started welding and putting screws in and all kinds of other stuff. Yeah, really the only thing I got left to do at this current point in time is to get the seat and the tank back on. Might try to fire it. I think that's what we got left. Oh yeah. Well, let's see if we can't get it fired. It should fire right up there. I mean, I didn't mess with any of that kind of stuff, so let's see what we got. Fuel. I don't even know if there's fuel in the tank. I guess we're getting ready to find out. turn around here real quick. Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to hop in here real quick because it was something that I forgot to cover in the video. After you finish watching the video, go to the channel homepage, to the community tabs, and there should be a poll still going. It's a choice of 3 different vehicles, and that's going to be the next project that I start here on the channel. So yeah, go there, put your vote in, and we'll see what you guys pick. I think ultimately in the end, it's the gear. It's a gear ratio problem because it does seem to want to move a little bit better now, but the gear that I put on there was only just slightly bigger. I think, like I said, I think the old gear was like a 28 tooth, and I think this is like a 32. So it's not much bigger, and it's got a little bit more go now, but it still just doesn't want to go from a dead stop. If you sort of like do a scooter thing, and you know you're footing it to get rolling, once you get moving, it'll carry itself. But so I don't know. That's gonna be it for this one. This is the I don't know, the goofy little 4-wheeler, the parts 4-wheeler. I don't know. For right now, we're gonna call it done. Thanks everybody for watching. Catch you in the next one.